Welcome to the Misadventures with...
I'm not doing it.
Kiki!
Nope, not doing it.
And Cowboy.
You can't make me.
I'm dragging her feet first into an episode today, everybody. So this morning we came up with
arms
topics.
crossed, not doing it.
She's over there. So Kiki is partially British, and she's over there going, harumph. You know, think like what are those?
I don't think I've ever made a harumph noise in my life.
That was a harumph face.
Yes. Ouch.
A harumph face. .com, safe search.
Wow.
But no, with the pith hat, like harumph. You're not helping. You're not helping your situation in the slightest. And that's our episode, everybody. Thank you for joining me.
It very well might be.
So this morning, apparently, Cowboy came up with the ultimate topic.
Yes,
and as Cowboy typed it in, and so I think y'all are going to fill in the gaps, ladies and gentlemen, because I typed literally this. It's kind of medicine, and apparently,
that immediately is revelatory and very clear.
It's just a launching pad for so many topics. But I had typed a whole nother sentence, apparently a descriptor or some type of cue to let us know what to talk about. And meanwhile, we were waking up, and Kiki's over there with her pokey finger being cute. And she's poking me while I'm trying to type because we do that.
I was totally fucking with you while you were trying to type. Yes.
We have been known to knock each other's cell phones right out of each other's hands.
Oh, absolutely. That's our love language for sure.
Yeah, pokey finger, like that. And I won't make that sound again. But so we're both looking. We have a Trello board for all of our possible shows, and we're both just staring at this, going
show topics. Yes,
it's kind of medicine.
Yes, and What's most interesting about this is that I ask Cowboy, what were you thinking about talking about, so that I have some kind of context to this header. And he looks at me just completely blankly, just blinking at me. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, how do you not know? You had quite a bit to type this morning.
I did.
I
basically didn't hit enter.
Re-prompted you with several things we talked about
while you were,
we discussed, and you're still like blink, blink, blink. Well, you're like, I have no idea. There's just like
full disclosure,
vacuum inside your brain right now.
Vacuous
it is.
So,
you're just looking at me like,
yes, but in between that
idea.
time, full disclosure. So I had gone out and done a bunch of yard work in the heat. And I came back in, and we talked about today's episode, and
so that's your thoughts
mildly dehydrated,
burned off in the heat,
baked off in the Texas sun. So or the topic,
the fact that you just
let's just accept
like it's so funny to me, because I mean I do get it. We're over 50. These kinds of things happen to all of us, where you walk into a room and you go, why did I come in here? You start a sentence and then you're like, I lost my train of thought. But the fact that like I can feed you some words and themes and topics about what was going on, and it's not even like there was a spark and you went, oh, I sort of remember it, but I can't quite grasp it. You're looking at me like you've never heard these words before. Like you're like
they weren't my creation at all.
Like I have no idea what you're talking about. We've never uttered that. We've never had that conversation.
No clue.
What? That's the part that's
it's like it was a different person
me.
This morning typing those notes.
Clearly.
Vacuous again.
Who apparently is not on this podcast.
So what we're going to do today is today's show will be a tribute to whatever great topic that was. We're going to do our best to...
No, not even doing... No, absolutely not.
How is it not going to be a tribute?
No, you're not dragging me into that disaster.
So I have a recollection, if you'll follow me down the memory lane.
No, you're just saying that to try
I have a recollection. And so it's kind of medicine.
Go for it.
It's more of...
I can't resist a bad decision. Fine.
I think it was framed around the different things that we find amusing of each other, but are also annoying. And it's medicinal that we tolerate/enjoy those. So that's what we're going to talk about.
I think this topic arose from the fact that this morning, as you were laying in bed...
Wait, so
and it was,
now you're giving me a prompt you could have given me 20 minutes ago.
I just gave you this prompt.
This is the first time anyone's heard this. So, audience, you're in it with me.
You all are going to witness me murder him right now. That's just what I want to say, and everybody here will say it was justified.
Murder.
You're laying in bed this morning after it's past 7 a.m., right?
Yeah, we both woken up.
And you are lamenting that the yard has not been mowed in a couple of weeks because we've been traveling, we've been sick, whatever. And I think the comment you made, which I thought was interesting, was that men are judged by the condition
and quality of the yard,
the state of the yard.
Yeah, the exterior of the house. Men are judged by that. Well, I'll say this: I judge other men by that. It's like that dude doesn't have his shit together. If I see a messy yard,
I think that's what speaks volumes right here.
Yeah,
is that the people who feel most judged in the world are the ones who are judging.
Yep. Yeah. What is it's like a Bible verse or maybe it's confused with the Bible verse. Is judge because you're judging, or is it judge not? Not yet. I'm pretty sure it's judge ye because ye judge.
I don't know anywhere in the Bible where it's
judge
recommending that you should judge thy neighbor. I think that you might
judge thy neighbor as ye be judged.
You might be.
I'm taking some liberty,
missing
some poetic,
a key component,
poetic license, if you will.
I would say so. So here's the other comment I made is because I laughed that you're like, oh, men are judging other men by the state of their yard, and I said, oh, that's funny because
it's hilarious.
Women judge each other by the manner in which their husbands dress,
which is a revelation to me.
And that was a revelation to you.
Wow.
Like you'd never heard that before.
Never even occurred to me that if I look like a slob, it makes her look bad.
So what's interesting about that is
not that I've ever looked like a slob.
That I'm yet to get the light bulb moment for you where you're like,
you're gonna be watching for a while.
Oh. That's why every time we go to a party...
That's why she has opinions of my shirts.
Exactly. So we just took a recent trip, and he was like throwing a fit at me because I was like, so...
What's she going to wear?
What were you thinking about wearing? And you're like, I don't know what I'm going to wear. I'm just going to ball it up in a big wad
I'll decide
5 minutes before we leave the house.
I ironed my shirt.
You did.
We went. I did press my shirt.
You were very good about ironing after the fact.
No, after the fact.
After the fact, as in after you have packed your suitcase.
Ironing before is
okay.
Now,
before we go to the event, you're very good at ironing. But I mean, after the fact, in the sense of like you could care less how you pack your bag
because it's just going to get jostled and folded anyway.
You literally wad it up.
I roll it up.
Throw it.
I don't
wad. You don't lay it out nicely.
No, but I
don't try to take care as you're rolling it or folding it.
Hey, I separate my socks.
Now you will.
Yeah, the socks are balled up.
100% iron your stuff before you go to an event. I, on the other hand, will take a lot of care with how I pack it, and then will not do any work whatsoever to iron something.
We're two sides of the same coin.
Or be presentable beforehand. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah, you do.
I get it. But I was just waiting for the light bulb moment of this is why wives care about what you're going to put on when you're going somewhere.
Okay.
And you're like, so...
I'm like, I look fine.
Yes. So I think...
Because I'm only thinking in terms of the other dudes are going to judge me, which, unless there's a yard present, we're not judging each other very much. Unless,
No. And I will be completely transparent in the fact that women
mustache or something.
Generally dress for other women.
Correct.
With...
my understanding.
Some caveats to that.
Right.
But generally speaking, women care more about what other women think about what they're wearing or what the guys are wearing. Guys are so oblivious.
We'll just go cool shirt, bro.
It's kind of
like
nice.
That really cool bomber shirt I got from the Nimitz Museum in Fredericksburg. That was a cool shirt.
Yes.
It's a Hawaiian shirt.
In that whole discussion, I believe there was a comment that we had made about the fact that you have to think about the person that you have chosen and the fact that
that
they're actually torturing you in some way, right? So like in some way we're all masochists because we have actually chosen the person that we are with,
right.
And so you've chosen your torture. I think you were going along somewhere on those lines, but I
used the word medicine.
Yeah, but I don't know what you were where you were going with that beyond.
Well, and again,
the introductory.
Full disclosure, and Kiki's got to own this. While I was
anything.
I was typing all of this on my phone, a full description
he did type quite a bit.
And then she kept noodling, poking with her pokey finger.
I kept jostling his arm.
Apparently, I didn't hit enter after. I saved that first line, but didn't hit enter after I put the description.
How do you not hit enter afterwards?
How would I know that I didn't know?
What?
But I think you understand. I think the audience understands.
I don't think the audience understands any.
Raise your hand, audience, if you understand.
I think, honestly,
I see lots of hands out there.
If I were an audience member, I would think that somehow you and I are slipping down into a
madness.
Slowly into madness. Yeah. If you listen to the series that we have, as we have started the podcast
our descendants.
to today, I think they're like, I think they're slowly losing their minds.
We're showing signs of dementia.
I think so.
And it's infectious.
Yeah.
So we're back to the medicine thing. So what would be the medicine for our dementia other than taking better notes and not teasing each other while we're taking notes?
What? I'm not allowed to annoy the shit out of you while you're trying to. I know you are, and I'm absolutely refusing
was the medicine
any responsibility.
Because we were talking about ideas for the yard. I was talking about I want to do that front entry area.
Oh, that also confused the heck out of me. Okay. So you're sitting there talking about, so I'd like to cut down all the bushes.
Not all the bushes.
And no, this
Trim.
is how, no.
I didn't say cut down. I did not use those.
No, this is how it started was I want to cut down all the bushes in the front yard in this little foyer section of the front yard.
It's the sidewalk that walks up to the entryway. There's a nice little...
Yeah, like a little walkway.
Foliage area there that you could easily put a small gazebo or a couple of benches.
I don't know about a gazebo, but you could put a couple of, like, you could make a nice little sitting area.
It could be a beautiful little garden sitting area once developed properly. Right now
and so you said, I want to do that when the temperatures drop a little bit. I'd like to do that because that side of the house faces sunset.
And it faces kind of northeast, so you get a little bit of the sunset.
Yep.
But you're protected from wind and most of the heat of the day.
So just based on...
northwest. I apologize.
Yeah.
Northwest.
So, northeast would be challenging for the sunset.
Very
and
mirrors.
So you tell me all of that, and you said, "Oh, I'm gonna rent a chainsaw or something like that," and then within 2 beats, you say something like, "But I'm not going to replant any bushes. I'm not prepared to do any planting of bushes, so I'm not actually going to cut down any of the bushes." So then I was confused because that space is significantly smaller if the bushes stay there. It is not actually a large enough seating area unless you were to cut down the bushes.
So we'll definitely cut down the bushes.
So somehow we're cutting down the bushes, but we're not cutting down the bushes.
Well, I don't want it to have no bushes of any kind. But those are those awful hollies.
Yes.
People who plant those hollies with the little spiky things.
They're evil.
They're evil because those things, they're the worst.
Yes.
They're so, now I get if you're trying to keep teenagers or people from breaking in or teenagers sneaking out and stuff like that.
Why don't you just plant rose bushes and thorns or something instead?
But either way, it's all gotta go. Yeah. It's all okay. Fine. I'm back to I agree.
Oh, now you've decided.
I'll edit this out. I'm sure because I don't want to be. Or I'll edit out the other thing where I said I didn't want to do it. So I definitely want to do it. My stream of consciousness is forked. By the way.
I think that comes as a shock to anybody listening to this.
It's all one giant body of water, but.
So where are we going with this conversation? That's just why I didn't want to get on this train to begin with.
Let's just leave it with we agree.
Okay.
Blanket statement.
Okay. That sounds good.
And that's what makes it work, people. We agree, one, that we're descending into the chasms of dementia.
Yes.
Two, all the other stuff we said that we weren't sure about.
We are in agreement that we're not sure about it, or are we unsure and yet agreeing?
Yeah. I think if you've listened to our podcast promo, we vehemently agree with each other. So much that we're talking over each other about exactly the same thing.
Now, say that word again.
Vehemently. I knew that sounded wrong. Again, disclosure, I've been out in the heat. My brain is slightly baked. Say the word again.
Vehemently. Yes.
Vehemently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that word and go edit over so you'll just say that word again. And I never said it wrong.
No, that's cheating.
Cue the cows.
That's cheating.
It isn't. It's called, in my business, my darling, we call it editing.
He who holds the editing.
he who holds the Control-C, Control-V, Control-X.
Gotcha.
Wields all the power in this business.
Understandable. So I'm still waiting for like the punchline. Like that's where we're leaving this podcast?
No. We're only halfway through.
We've only just begun. What?
So I want to celebrate a moment with my darling Kiki.
Oh boy, this is taking just twists and turns all over the place. I don't even know where we're going.
So we're hitting a milestone. I believe this is episode. Guess which number?
3.
I guess technically, if you're a new listener, this could be your
It could be episode anything as far as they're concerned.
Anything. I think it's number 25.
I think you decided 25. That you weren't going to number any of these,
they're not numbered.
Have no idea what number it is.
But if you had to put them all in a basket and carry them around,
okay,
we have 25.
Do we?
In our basket, yeah.
That's shocking.
It is shocking. We've been doing it for
25 episodes.
25 episodes. Yeah, if we thereabouts. Watch it be 24 and I miscounted.
Oh man, that's why you number them.
Yeah. Well, who numbers these things?
You're killing me.
But celebrate with us, folks. We're 1/4 of the way to our century mark for episodes. Wonder how long it'll take us to get there. Well, let's see.
About 4 times what it did to get here.
Well, let's see. We drop an episode a week.
I'm pretty sure we can count that.
It's going to take us another year and a half. So anyway, okay. So we're looking at our topics.
People, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, I think we're in what did I say earlier? We're in the vortex of dementia.
So, okay, so here you go. This is where we're going with this.
All right, we're taking audience requests. So
no,
in the comments section,
we're not taking any audience requests. Okay,
this is so delayed.
So here's where we're going with this.
Where are we going with this, my darling Kiki?
Is that Cowboy and I, clearly Cowboy far more than I
like where this is going.
Is suffering.
Oh, don't like where this is going.
From COVID.
I am recovering from.
I think you're still suffering.
So I would say I'm in week 2.
There is strong evidence.
So 2 weeks ago, this coming, ahead. So I just got real tired. I remember I felt like I had, and if anyone else has had COVID, which I'm sure you have, by this time, golly, it's brutal. But felt like I had, I think everybody knows the symptoms, right? But my symptoms were, I felt like I had allergies. And then on day 3, which is a week and a half ago now, I was completely and utterly exhausted, except for, Kiki knows me, occasionally I just get tired. Like on a Tuesday night, I go to bed early. I just get pooped. So
we got our COVID vaccines at the end of July, knowing that we were going to be going on a trip.
Yes.
And knowing that COVID's a little bit on the rise.
8 days later, apparently, I got
whatnot.
COVID.
So
8 days, less than 8 days.
Yes, several days later. Which, as he was saying, we're leading up. It's the week actually of our trip, leading to our trip, and he's got a headache for about 3 days. Mm-hmm. And about midweek, you get so tired, and you literally went to bed at like 6 p.m.
Yeah,
maybe if that.
I was exhausted,
and then even slept in late. I think
I did.
So you really slept hard, And then the very next day, Thursday, the day before we're leaving town, we went and did a pretty hard workout at the gym.
Yep.
And
Heavy weights.
as it happened,
and I went to work that day.
it was a really late, like we do work out in the evenings, not because you prefer that, mostly because I do. And you're kind enough to allow me that. But you worked late that day. And so we didn't get to the gym until
like 9 o'clock.
Well, we did not arrive at the gym at 9 p.m. We did arrive
8 o'clock.
Significantly.
It was late. It was 7:30. It was definitely later than our normal.
It was later than our normal.
Definitely later, yeah.
And when we left the gym, it was significantly late. So it was after 9 p.m. by the time that we left the gym, came home.
And I was still feeling a little bit off, but I thought I was recovering.
Ate something, which is never very good for you because you have a very sensitive gut. And so you couldn't sleep that night. Mm-hmm. We get up and go to the airport. So you said about 2 hours of sleep.
I was exhausted.
We go to visit our friends, and we went out of town to go visit some of our very best friends. Had a big life event.
Super fun to celebrate.
And it was, they had family coming in, they had friends, like 20, 30 people coming for this party, this celebration.
At this point, I don't know I have COVID.
No, you have no idea. And we didn't even suspect it, quite honestly.
I just knew I was tired.
And I know you well enough to know that sometimes when you have not had very good sleep, right, you just really struggle. So I was, we were there, we landed, and Friday was tough because you'd gotten very little sleep the night before. You didn't really sleep much on the plane. You did a little, like you closed your eyes a little, but then as soon as we hit the ground, it was kind of running because we got picked up. We had to go run some errands for the party. And then everybody was meeting for happy hour at like 5 o'clock, and we landed at 2:30. And actually there was a little bit of a hiccup in the landing where we ended up landing a little later than anticipated anyway. And so we're at happy hour. You have a drink at my suggestion, and I did not know that hit you sideways.
So, and if anyone's ever been unwell, and you add an alcoholic beverage to the mix, it almost acts like poison. Like you feel it, you're like, oh. And if you listen to there's an episode in our library where Cowboy had way too much bourbon.
What?
Yeah, but so that was over 6 months ago. I had been at that same event. I was recovering.
You were recovering from.
I was a month after I'd had it, but I was still not 100%. I knew it.
Yes.
And I had too much bourbon, and I'd never been sicker in my life from especially it was alcohol poisoning, but it was also mixed with still recovering from COVID. So here I am. I took the first drink first. Of course, there was a second, but
no, wait for the logic here, guys. No. Wait for the logic.
But I took a drink. It was
have an old fashioned.
An old fashioned. It was
that
good.
I had recommended.
Good. And but it's one of those things is once it hits your lips, and if your body's not well, it kind of rejects it. Like I was like, oh.
No,
it wasn't a relaxing thing. It was like it felt like poison.
Does he say this to me at the party? Nope. Absolutely not.
Instead, I do anything about it other than finish the drink over the next 30 minutes? He finishes the drink.
He does not offer it. Like he doesn't say, "Hey, I want you to finish the drink" or anything.
Still not listening to my body.
And wait for the punchline.
Ordered food.
What else do you order, dear?
I ordered a beer. Only because I knew a beer would complement the pizza that I was having.
A beer would, yes. As you sit here and say, when you drink alcohol and you feel terrible afterwards,
you should order food and drink more alcohol.
Order more alcohol.
I did drink about half a gallon of water in this time. I was pounding water for sure.
You were.
But yeah, I felt pretty terrible, and then so. Obviously not wearing a mask, sitting in a restaurant with a bunch of friends and
some of them are elderly.
Yeah. We're in our 50s,
maybe not
so
elderly,
by older,
but
they're
older. They're in their 70s or early 80s. Yeah.
So I felt terrible. One, I'm feeling bad, but the next morning, you're my behest.
I am, yes. You winking at me because you like to use those big words. Yeah.
No, it wasn't because I used a big word.
Yes, it was.
Because I'm not sure if
I'm
not sure if it was my suggestion or yours.
Well, I was fully expecting you to wake up the next morning
feeling better.
And feeling better.
And I did not.
And you didn't. And then you started talking about, I feel really achy, like my joints feel achy.
Yeah.
And
I slept terrible, and I felt feverish,
Yeah.
And actually, so this is, never a good thing to talk about, but I'd had a dream that I was in that night. I'd had a dream that I was diagnosed with cancer and was dying. That's how bad my body felt, that it got into my
And I will say that the other thing that I have learned is that his dreams, like the only time he has dreams like that is truly when he is physically
something's off,
ill.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the last time he had a dream like that, he actually had COVID.
Yep.
And so then I thought, one of the two of us, I can't remember which, but we were like, okay, we were supposed to, of course, this is my very best friend and her husband,
who is a very good friend of mine.
And so I was thinking, okay, well, I really need to go over. I mean, they're kind of counting on the help and us being there and whatnot, but I knew he was just a wreck. And so I just told him to lay in bed, and I still was like, just recover for the rest of the day, sleep it off a little bit. You'll be fine for this evening for a party. But because there were older people there and because it was going to be a party, I thought, I don't remember it was you or I, but we were like, we should probably just go get some COVID tests just in case. And the pharmacy wasn't open yet for whatever reason. I think it was a weekend, and so the pharmacy didn't open until later.
Yeah, until after.
And so I go hang out with the family for coffee and breakfast and all of that. Actually, I did wear a mask.
She did, just preventative, yeah.
Just as a preventative, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And then we test you later in the afternoon, and you popped right away. Yep. You were
full
just
on
like,
COVID. Yep. Didn't take a second for those lines to line up.
Yep. So we traveled all the way to the fair city of Atlanta.
Yep.
For you to quarantine for the whole weekend.
Yeah, I literally stayed in the Airbnb
Isn't
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yeah. So here's the kicker, though. Is like there was a time we were discussing staying with our friends.
We were.
So if we had stayed with them, it would have been a shit show. Because
that would have been worse because the whole family was staying there. Yeah. And as it was, it ended up, being that our friend who was actually getting celebrated, he was the one who ended up coming down with it as well. So, yay us. Yay, the gift that keeps on giving.
We brought a gift that lasts
Yes. Well, and so did I. So I only bring this up not only because it's a typical misadventure, as it seems every single trip we have taken as of late has been a disaster.
A misadventure, my dear. They're never disasters.
You're never a disaster.
They're misadventures.
A misadventure, yes.
Yeah.
But clearly, as you can tell from the podcast, we are still
recovering,
suffering substantially from cognitive decline.
No, I was out in the heat, my dear. I was out there. Now, if we recorded this before I did yard work, I would probably be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Gotta blame the yard work.
Okay.
Should do less of that.
Can do.
No, it needed to be done.
Can do.
Because circling back is I don't want my neighbors judging me based on
Oh, you will be.
Oh, yeah. But now at least that's one.
But don't worry about the podcasting community. They won't judge us based on
our neighbors. They're our fans. Wink. Are you
wink.
Yeah. Our friends, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll really know it if once we get our Patreon up and running. If we have any real
I
fans.
think we're gonna have to actually
that account will be empty forever.
Not only empty, I think it's possible it could be negative.
People will say, owing Patreon money.
You owe us money for having listened to your podcast, especially this podcast.
Yeah, this is
the last couple of podcasts.
No, the last one was good.
Was it?
So the next one will be great. Stick around. Let's tease the next one.
At some point.
So next week
we will right the ship at some point. I don't know when it is, so hang on for that.
We'll right the ship, but if I don't hit enter, it won't be captured.
No,
right? Exactly. I'm talking WRITE. See, brain's working. Told you.
Look at you being so clever.
Yes, and right. Okay, but stay tuned for next week when we get the second half of We Don't Know What the Fuck We're Talking About. On Misadventures with
Kiki
and Cowboy. Thanks for joining us today, folks.
Bye.